want to talk about the contemporaneous timekeeping model, how this can really benefit you and, of course, your firm, because you are going to be capturing more of your time. The contemporaneous timekeeping model, let's define it so we're very clear on what it is. What it's not is always entering your time after a task. That's what some people get confused about. It's not do the task, enter your time, do the task, enter your time. It can be, but I want you to open yourself up to the idea that contemporaneous timekeeping could also be recording your narrative before you even start on the task. Or when you're actually working on the task, it could be during that time and, of course, after. I think there are certain tasks that it works really well to do it before, the anchoring advantage approach. Or there may be times when you don't do it before and then you realize you're in the middle of a task that could be billable. And so that may be the best time so that you remember to bill for it and you get the narrative in. Or maybe it does make sense for you to do it after. I'm going to talk about this habit stacking strategy where it's an if-then statement. You tell yourself, if I do this legal work, then I bill. If I do this type of work, then I bill. If I am on a call with a client, then I go and bill. And that's a good way to start to associate billing with the legal work. Here's the brain science behind why it matters to contemporaneously keep track of your time. When you reconstruct your time, your brain learns that billing equals negative emotions, reliving stressful moments throughout your day. But when you bill contemporaneously, your brain learns that billing is a quick, simple task. You do it, you move on. And over time, if you consistently contemporaneously bill, this is literally how you rewire your brain. It stops being this very dreaded task, this heavy end of day thing that you do, and just becomes a part of your work. And I always like to offer attorneys the concept of the and. You can do the legal work and the billing work. You have the capacity to do both and do both really well. And the only reason you feel like you can't do both really well, the only reason maybe you keep telling yourself, I work best when I'm just focused on one thing, is because you haven't tried. Or you've tried and it didn't work out and you quit. But one of the things we're going to talk about is billing backslides. When you do have those little failures, those little moments where you haven't been contemporaneously billing, what are you going to say to yourself in those moments so that you can keep going? You can keep that contemporaneous timekeeping skill, that practice, because that's all it is. It's a practice every single day. Your work's going to throw different things at you at different times. Sometimes you're going to be super busy. Sometimes you're not going to be busy. It's how you show up and capture your time in all of those moments that counts and creates a really robust contemporaneous timekeeping habit. So when you capture your time contemporaneously, you get the benefits of more accurate time capture, which means more hours billed so you can meet your daily, your weekly, or your yearly billing targets. Better narratives using that 4-part billing framework that we discussed in the previous session, because you're remembering more clearly what you did or what you're doing, why it benefits the client, right? The value part, and the result or goal of completing the work. So you get very clear on that, and the billing narrative just writes itself. Also, when you capture your time as you go, there's no need to relitigate the day, but also you get, instead of having to relitigate your day, you get that it's done energy. And so many attorneys, it's so hard to get that feeling at the end of the day because you know the next day you still have a big to-do list. And so at the end of the day, when at least you get all your billing done, you get that priceless feeling of like, we're done here. It feels so good to complete a big project or a task. And for billing, you're able to get that feeling at the end of the day versus with the legal work, there's always more. And that's a good thing. Obviously, in order to stay employed, we always want that to-do list, but it's so nice to get it's done, the billing's done. Also, that contemporaneous timekeeping habit, you start to build a really positive association with billing that feels easy. It feels natural. It just feels like something you're doing. That's kind of not even within your control. It's just so easy. You just do it. You don't even have to think about it. Versus at the end of the day, it's that long, tedious going back, trying to remember. So you really can start to build this really great positive association with billing your time, which combined with the positive association with the legal work or, right, all the other tasks that you're doing, that's what creates for you a thriving practice. And then also, if there is a way to track whether you are entering your time contemporaneously, and maybe there's like a score that your firm keeps, that is also something. If you have a great billing score at the end of the year, you get a more positive evaluation. So let me show you a side-by-side comparison of these two models. On the left is the reconstruction model with all of the costs. On the right, the contemporaneous model with all the benefits. And so we've already been through some of these, but I'm just going to go over them quickly. Definitely when you reconstruct, more errors, less total time captured, versus when you are contemporaneously billing, it is way more accurate and you get significantly more time captured. Remember those ABA studies? You'll reclaim at least an hour every day of time that you probably would forget if you reconstruct your time versus if you're capturing it contemporaneously. You are way less likely to underbill your time. So you'll be able to reclaim at least 0.5 every day or 2.5 every week. And you are way less likely to confusion cut, to tell yourself, I don't know how to bill for it, or I don't think I can bill for it. So you'll also reclaim that 0.5 every day, 2.5 every week. So that's at least 10 hours weekly, right? 5 hours that you will get back when you're not procrastinating, 2.5 when you're not underbilling, and 2.5 when you're not confusion cutting. Also, I keep mentioning, you don't have to relitigate your day and relive the stress. And also that contemporaneous model, your narratives will be better, the details are fresher in your memory, so it'll just flow out into the billing software much more easily, versus that reconstructing, the narratives will be worse. You just want to get in, get out, go home for the day. Also, it reduces the overall total time spent on billing. Think about those minutes that add up to a lot of time at the end of the day when you're just trying to think about, what did I do? I don't remember. Let me go back into my emails and try to figure out what I did all day. Let me check my calendar. That does take a lot of time, the extra amount of time, versus if you're already in it and you know what you're doing and your memory is fresh, it's just easy to capture it right there. So it shaves off the total amount of time you are spending actually billing your time. And then eliminates that end of day or end of week or end of month billing stress. A lot of attorneys I work with, that's a huge component of why they hate billing so much. It's just this huge extra layer of stress because of the time they have to spend reconstruction, because they know they'll lose time, because they just hate having to bill. There's just so much stress surrounding billing from the unhelpful habits that they have. But when you have that contemporaneous timekeeping habit, you eliminate all of the unnecessary stress. And then negative associations with billing compound over time when you are reconstructing versus that contemporaneous timekeeping habit, right? You're able to create these useful pauses between the tasks. That's something we're going to talk about later in some of the strategies for how to contemporaneously bill. And it really does require more mental effort to figure out what you did all day or all week, however long, versus when you are contemporaneously billing, you don't have to have that extra effort mentally. You can just remember what you did because you're in the moment. And then I like to put improves client trust through detailed billing. So it's the client trust, but it's also the partner reviewing your entries, and you build that know, like, and trust factor with them through that 4-part billing framework, showing them the action, task, value, and result, showing them that this is the value you are offering to the firm. And over the weeks, over the months, over the years, all of those billing narratives just become this relationship that they have with you. So whether it's the partner or the clients, and the relationship is built on value, built on you aiming towards bigger and better results for your clients. That's the mindset you want the partner or the client to be thinking about you as they read those billing narratives. And over time, that is exactly what is built when they read those billing narratives and really can see the value that you articulate in them. And all of a sudden, they just associate you with value, you with getting them benefits, you with creating this great result for them. That's what billing can really do for you, especially that contemporaneous habit.
Your timekeepers are losing at least 10 billable hours every week to procrastination, under-recording time, and skipping billing for tasks that are absolutely billable. And most of them don't even realize it. They're not cutting corners on purpose. Most attorneys and paralegals aren't underbilling because they're lazy. They just don't know what they don't know. That's not a talent problem. It's a training problem. Molly's firm-wide billing programs fix that. Your timekeepers will learn how to capture their time, articulate the real value of their work, and bill with confidence. No more reconstructed time, no more money left on the table. Visit thebillingcoach.com to bring Molly's proven billing training to your team. It's time.